Hello everyone, and welcome to 404s of the World, a spin-off series of remarkable engines where I briefly covered the history of an engine numbered 404 in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. In this episode, we'll be covering one of the last and largest engines rostered by a small but fan-favorite railway in the plains of Alberta, specifically the Northern Alberta Railway. Even though there aren't too many photos of this engine, it's still part of a lesser-known successful class of EMD road engines as it still serves the same region to this day. So without further ado, let's begin. Despite being a rural fallen flag, the Northern Alberta Railway got its start as late as 1929, when the provincial government grouped 4 railroads north of Edmonton under the name Northern Alberta Railway, as it was soon sold to both Canadian Pacific and Canadian National under joint ownership. But given that this railroad was in a rural part of Canada, its roster was never too large, as they replaced inherited steam engines with 10 GP9s and 7 GMD1s that eventually needed stronger engines to haul heavier freight runs with fewer engines. Enter the SD38-2, a slightly weaker and cheaper version of the widely successful SD40-2, but strong enough to satisfy the needs of the small Albertan railroad by offering 250 more horsepower. A total of just 4 SD38-2s were delivered in December 1975 and were numbered 401 to 404, the last of which being the locomotive to be focused on, with this 404 holding 2 records on the railroad, the last locomotive to be ordered by the Northern Alberta Railway as an independent railroad, and the highest numbered engine on the all-time roster, thus making this engine an ultimate omega. NAR also continued the tradition of naming engines after notable landmarks throughout their system, with the SD38-2s being named after rivers, as 404 was named Smoky River. 404, along with its sister units, usually worked in pairs of 3 by hauling heavy grain and ore trains with ease on the Peace River Hill thanks to their dynamic braking, or with a single 38 and some GP9s, as the SD38-2s were exclusively utilized for freight service between Peace River and Edmonton. But after just 6 years of service, Northern Alberta Railway would be fully acquired by Canadian National, resulting in CN inheriting and renumbering all of NAR's engines, as 404 was renumbered to 5703 as it was initially patched and then repainted into CN's zebra stripe livery. Eventually, 5703 was renumbered again to 1653 in 1996, while retaining its existing livery to make way on the roster for newer SD75Is, but impressively, 3 of the 4 ex-NAR SD38-2s, including 404, continue to work for Canadian National to this day, mostly along former NAR trackage with the occasional visit to other provinces. Even though there isn't much info on these rare diesels, and not to mention having an identical history to CN 1650 from the Alpha Omega episode on CN, this 404 still goes down as a little-known powerhouse that loyally served a simple job on a simple railroad in its home plains of Northern Alberta for decades past and likely for decades to come. Thank you all for watching this episode of 404s of the World. Now, for those of you who may be watching this on the day this video was uploaded, some of you may be wondering why I'm covering a Canadian locomotive on the 4th of July. That's because this series is scheduled to always be uploaded on the 4th day of the month, and more importantly, this particular engine was requested by a fan of the channel Discord server under extraordinary circumstances, so this episode is made based on their special request. For more information on the Northern Alberta Railway and their SD38-2s, feel free to watch Engines of NAR by the Winnipeg Railfan. Thank you again for watching. Credit for all the photos used go to their respective photographers, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.